Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to Football Inc. Hope you're all happy and healthy doing the things that you love. It's a massive day in transfer news, views and clues around the Premier League and elsewhere. We have all of it for you right here. MBEUMO, are Manchester United a little bit squeaky bum time? Are they concerned about Vissa? They should be, because Newcastle United, well, we'll talk about them with their pursuit of Ekitike. Have they given up the ghost? Because Liverpool came in. Why did Liverpool say to Newcastle, look, we'll leave Ekitike alone if you can let us have this, Isak? That didn't happen. It's all changing the forward line. There's so much else. We've got Johnny H3232 to go through it with you. I hope you are all capable of doing some favours. As you know, guys, take your shoes off, smash the like button, hit the subscribe like your life depends on it, hit the notification bell, keep the comments flowing thick and fast. And if you are interested in the audio versions of these sorts of shows, then we are on Apple Pods and on Spotify. Please find the descriptions in the find the links in the description and smash the 5-star rating and follow us over there. Johnny, how you doing, mate? How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I mean, listen, this morning I said to you I think it was Monday, it's quiet, but it's about to kick off, and it just needed one club to set the ball rolling. And I think yesterday was it. You know, Newcastle going for Ekitike, Liverpool saying, "Oh no, you don't." Newcastle saying, "Well, we need a striker, right? We'll go for Vissa." Spurs are going for Vissa. Right, but if they go for Vissa, Man United, who have been stalling, won't be able to get hold of MBEUMO. So it's all kicking off. There's so much transfer news out there today, and it's exciting stuff. At long last, here we go.
Here we go. Yeah, here we go indeed. Let's just quickly say hello to a few people. Good to see you, Fletch, member of the channel. Newcastle in for Vissa. Yeah, but he apparently has said that Tottenham are... Is he disappeared already?
No,
he's... For those you listening, Johnny likes to do a disappearing act here. Good to see you, Fletch. We're going to speak about Newcastle in a second. Al Pash is in the house as well. Robin, Alex, Alan, good to see you all. Shawnee is working on air traffic control, doing the Robotron. We got Darwin in the house as well. Geek Jinx, good to see you. Good to see you. Anyone sober at this point? Not Nottingham Forest, at least. He's absolutely smashed on power. Afternoon, Noel. Good to see you. Good to see you. Guys, keep saying hello. I'll keep bringing up the chat. Johnny, where do we start? Let's start with the MBEUMO news, shall we? It's the biggest, it's the most recent, most latest drop. Talk to me, mate. Talk to me.
Well, I think, is Vissa the cock block for Brian MBEUMO? That's the question.
That was the fear, I think, for Manchester United.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it desperately is, because they were playing the long game. Suddenly, then they're not worried about Spurs or anyone else going in for Vissa, because they're thinking MBEUMO's the one, 70 million, that will help them refund. But the truth of the matter is, if Vissa goes, MBEUMO's going nowhere, and that leaves them in the mud. So, and if that happens and they do get MBEUMO, where does that leave Newcastle, right? Because then Newcastle suddenly haven't got Ekitike, and they haven't got Vissa. Does that mean they then have to do an about turn and go for Sesko?
I don't know where to start, mate, because there's so many different stories here. Like, I built the thumbnail, I've redone it 3 or 4 different times, and then just before we go live, and MBEUMO's about to drop. I think this is the right time in the show, though, before we get into anything, because there's a lot of cock blocking going on here. So when there's a reason, there is a rhyme.
Just when you thought your squad was getting proper, that player won't leave. They call that cock blocker.
Who is the cock blocker here, mate? Is it Liverpool? Is it Newcastle? Because Liverpool turned around and basically said, I think what Newcastle said, what was told was, look, we'll just take, we'll take Ekitike. If you really want Ekitike, we'll step aside, but you got to give us Alex Isak. You're not having both of them. And you know that there's a pecking order, Johnny, to the politics, right? There's a pecking order to the football politics. If Newcastle, I said this the other day to you, if Newcastle United are capable of attracting Ekitike, then teams like Tottenham should be in. Right, teams like Aston Villa, if they had the money or the capability, they could be in because we're part of that same sort of level. But if a team like Liverpool are involved, then they just, as soon as they pick up the phone, no one else is interested. And that's what's happened. Newcastle United have basically given up the goose and said, all right, we're not going to go after Ekitike because Liverpool essentially cock-blocked them. But now you've got Newcastle going, well, you're not having Isak. So we'll go after Isak. But Visser's turned around and apparently said, I'd rather join Thomas Frank in Tottenham and stay where I live than go up north to the Toon. And so are Tottenham cock-blocking Newcastle? But at the same time, you've got Manchester United who are saying, no one's cock-block. The only people that cock-block United are Manchester United.
Yeah, we're not going. We're not leaving. We're going to have MBEUMO. Suddenly 55 plus add-ons has turned into, okay, we'll drop the 70 million you want. I mean, it was only just, was it yesterday or the day before that Ratcliffe said we're not being held ransom, we're not going to be paying 70 million pounds for him? Suddenly 70 million pound rumoured bid just dropped on Sky Sports. So it's who moves first? Who can get the deal done first? Brentford are in a strong position. They got 2 assets up front that 3-4 clubs want. Who will get the deal done first? Manchester United should have had MBEUMO done and dusted weeks ago. And if they miss out, it'll only be themselves to blame, Sean. They really will. But Spurs...
What does this mean, mate? Like, just quickly.
Yeah.
If MBEUMO does get, because now that Brentford have held out for the 70 and they got their guy, or they got their money, if this goes through as it looks, then do Brentford still have a price for Visser with 1 year left on his contract? Because even though they might say, we only want to sell one, because the looming threat of Sunderland and Leeds United, like sort of coming down the outside here, you think of it in a horse race sort of terminology, they don't want to sell both. But at some point, every man has his price, right? So at what point does Visser go up in price if MBEUMO goes for 70, or is he not for sale? And then and Brentford just say 50 million quid for a player with 1 year left on his contract, 19 goals, great, but he's not a Harry Kane, he's not, whatever, not that level. But you know what? We can't lose both of them. So yeah, MBEUMO's done. Or did Brentford say, actually, I'd rather sell Visser for 50 than MBEUMO for 70, because MBEUMO delivers more in terms of the output. But then also, what's the problem there with are you keeping an unhappy player? Are you keeping 2 unhappy players?
No, I think, in all honesty, Brentford, here's the price for Visser, here's the price for MBEUMO. They've laid out their stall. We're selling one. First come, first serve. The other player's not going. We're not going to sacrifice ourselves for a sale of a player. It's as simple as that. Why would they? There's no reason for them to do that. It would be absolute madness. So I can see just one player going, and why not just sell Visser if you had to make the choice? Sell Visser for, say, 45 million, and MBEUMO's got 3 years left on his contract, I believe.
Yeah.
Therefore, they can sell him next summer with 2 years left on his contract, and still get decent money for him, and then make the plans to replace him.
I didn't realise Visser had an option. Didn't know that.
Yeah, he's got 1 year with one option.
Well, that changes things a little bit, doesn't it? So,
yes, but he's 29 years of age, guys. He's 29. Brian MBEUMO's 25. Look, it's an interesting scenario here, because if Spurs or Newcastle jump in, then that's going to screw Man United. If Spurs jump in and get Visser, that screwed Newcastle, who have been fobbed off. They tried to get João Pedro. They looked at Ekitike. They're looking at Visser. Yeah. So,
and Mark Gahey.
Yeah, so
Newcastle have been cop blocked all summer. It's been a horrendous time to be up the Toon.
But they got money to spend. They got money to spend. But it's like, we said this before. Who's going to move first? Is it going to be an advantage to get first mover advantage, or are you going to pay the price by stalling and and ahhing? I mean, right now, our Spurs, for example, and ahhing and being transfixed by getting the Morgan Gibbs-White deal over the line and taking their eye off the ball on other signings. I don't think they are, but there is one signing which
might be a little bit
where there might be, because there's one that we there's one that we are going to mention soon when we come to it that could be affecting Spurs.
Yeah. We're gonna try and get, because unfortunately, Jonny and I are we might have come up with more segments than Terry's Chocolate Orange, more sections than a mental institute. But unfortunately, we're not great at staying on topic or being entirely organised and prepared, where we know that for the next 5 minutes we're going to talk about 5 or 6 different Saudi topics or Turkey topics. So we just jump around, and unfortunately, that comes with the territory of being the sort of guys that we are. So we are going to come to the Tottenham segment. But mate, let's just stick with Newcastle for a minute, because they have failed. Like this summer, they have failed to attract anybody. And this gets back to, just walk away from transfers for a second. Let's just talk a little bit about politics and pecking order politics. A lot of people, Tottenham fans, are in that kind of this wheelhouse here where we don't really know what level we're at, right? Like, where are we in the order? When you see that such and such a player like Gyökeres, just go and get Gyökeres, just go and pay the money. Unfortunately, you have to respect the fact that we can't necessarily attract the best players. Newcastle are another example of a team that have got really punchy ambitions this summer. They've gone after some really monster names, but every time they've tried, they've ended up being cop-blocked by the fact that they are just Newcastle and they're not Liverpool, they're not Arsenal, they're not, etc. Right? And so I wonder when we pivot now to the next story, which is that Newcastle have said, "Oh, we'll give up on Ekitike and we'll pivot to Benjamin Sesko." Are they punching? Are they like? Is it reach for the stars, land on the sky, or are they just delusional in their approaches here? What are we doing?
Look. Newcastle have got massive ambitions. Let's not forget that they are backed by the wealthiest group in the world. Okay, let's not lose sight of that. So they're not a group. The Saudis aren't a group that like to come second in anything. Okay, so believe me when I tell you that they'll be doing everything to sign players, and what they might miss out on, they won't stop. While we're on Newcastle,
can they draw those players?
Well,
it's not about the money, right? It's about the draw.
Yeah, no, but listen, I think, what is the pitch? Is the pitch coming to Newcastle a video of Friday night in towns with girls wearing helmets walking the streets? I don't know. Or is it,
Geordie Shaw meeting them on the airplane?
Yeah. Why are you, lad? Why are you? Right. Fucking a time and all that. Listen, I don't know, Sean, but listen, I think Newcastle have ambition, but how much of a draw is London, for example? Or, look, Newcastle are not a bigger club as Liverpool. That's it. As a global brand, Liverpool.
Very few teams are, right? Very few teams are.
Yeah, very few teams are. So when Liverpool come calling, as Spurs found out with Diaz, the game's over. But Newcastle are in talks over signing another Chelsea player, who Chelsea are going to be selling millions of pounds worth of talent, if you can call it that. Chelsea defender Axel Diassi has an asking price of £35 million. Newcastle are in for him because, as we know, they need to improve their defence. They are also eyeing and chasing and making serious overtones to Harvey Elliott about his Liverpool future's more or less done. But that player, when before the under-21s, Liverpool were looking for around about 35 million plus add-ons. Now we're looking at 50 million because they've seen the market. Will they pay that money?
So apparently Tottenham are looking at this guy as well. Like, I know this was an older story a couple of weeks ago. We were looking at him, but this morning we're apparently looking at him if there's a problem with the Gibbs White deal. And do you know what, mate? I did a video this morning on the other channel because I didn't really like. I was like, obviously I know the name Harvey Elliott. I've seen him, watched him enough times. I think he's a good player, but like I wasn't like ever wowed by the idea of it. Last night, I went and looked at his Y-Scout, and I was like, I don't remember him doing that. Don't remember him doing that. I ended up spending half an hour looking through Harvey Elliott's, not his highlight reel, his everything reel, which is what you can do with Y-Scout, zone into any department. And then I went and compared him on FB Refs to Morgan Gibbs White. I'll be entirely honest, mate. Nottingham Forest are being stupid. Nottingham Forest should take the 60 million, and then go and buy Harvey Elliott for 45? Because you know what? The thing that Harvey Elliott can do in the attacking role that Morgan Gibbs-White represents.
Better finisher.
He's a better passer, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And he's incredible at interceptions and that anticipation sort of game from what I saw, right? And so my take is that if Nottingham Forest are going to keep that kind of same motif as what they were doing last season with like intercept, transition, and go, then to me, I think Harvey Elliott would be a perfect replacement for Morgan Gibbs-White. Ever so slightly different. Not like Morgan Gibbs-White's a bit of a sort of, feistier kind of player. But Harvey Elliott has everything that I think would be perfect for a Nottingham Forest type of role. And if you can get him for 10, 15 million pound cheaper, then you can put that money together with the Elanga money and go and get a couple of absolute pace merchants to find whatever the replacement is for Anthony Elanga. I think that Gibbs-White. I think that Marinakis is being a bit of a donut here.
Well, they have got. Don't forget, they've got Igor Jesus coming in up front. Who's a good striker from Botafogo, and then Cunha, the defender. So they are looking at replacements, and I think that's why they're holding on to Morgan Gibbs-White at the moment. Just for clarity, Gary Beck said the Saudis aren't a group that like to come second in anything. That was my comment. Yeah. WTF, have they won apart from landing in an oil-rich region, Joe? Right, what I'm trying to say, Gary, is they don't like to come second in anything, meaning they will buy up everything, right? Boxing, if they're going to do boxing, they'll have the biggest events. If they want to be involved in the golf, they'll just buy up the golf.
Money's no object sort of thing.
Money no object. So what I'm saying is they want to make Newcastle number one. The problem they've got is they hadn't counted for the fact of FFP and PSR in its entirety and just thought that they could just come in and buy the league. So what I'm saying is they don't like being cop-blocked, as we would say. FFP.
Maybe I need to find a merging segment of the cop blocker and also... Yeah.
It's all about the PSR. It's all about the FFP. It's all about the loopholes. It's all about the money.
For Newcastle United, it is about the money, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, it's all about the money, Gary. And so just to give you context, that's what I was referring to. When you say they haven't won anything, you're quite right. But they are winning in sport with their sports washing, however you want to. I'm not getting political on this. I'm just giving some clarification on your comment.
Let's take a little pause for a second, mate, and talk, because there's an interesting comment here from... Big Joe, big up to you, Big Joe. Says, I don't think Newcastle wants to do business with Liverpool. Their fans are so upset and still complaining online. I don't know whose fans are complaining more. I've never seen my timeline. Like on Twitter, I only follow about 50 people or something like that, right? And most of them are just like transfer people, right? Like ITKs or whatever, or journalists. And cause I don't like the doom scrolling. I lose hours of my day every day if I follow all that stuff. But my timeline has been filled in the last sort of 72 hours with Nottingham Forest fans. And then occasionally you suddenly see a Newcastle United fan that's losing their mind at Liverpool. There's a lot of little micro fan rivalry starting around right now around who it is that thinks that who's a bigger team. Like Nottingham Forest fans, Johnny, genuinely believe that Tottenham are little old Tottenham and that they're major, massive Nottingham Forest. And most of the people that I see saying these tweets, no disrespect to Forest fans, if you're watching, come on and tell me why I'm wrong, and we love you all for being here, but they point to the 2 stars on their shirt. Most of the people that do that weren't alive when they won those European trophies. What are they doing here? They went to sleep in the 70s and woke up like last season and go, oh yeah, we're still massive. You're not massive, let's be honest.
I got a few wound up the other day. I had a few drop on my timeline with that video I dropped of Marinakis leaving the restaurant after lengthy negotiations with Morgan Gibbs-White, and it was basically a video of a large gentleman slumped over a donkey going stage left to right, and
his Speedos. Don't forget the Speedos.
It's very funny in a pair of Speedos. It was very funny. But the Forest fans were coming in saying, it's not funny, blah, blah, blah. And I said, you're just bitter with the memories of 91 and the fact that, Nottingham Forest have become Spurs feeder club. Jed Spence, Brennan Johnson, Steve Hodge, and now Morgan Gibbs-White. But I'm with you, funny enough, Sean. Morgan Gibbs-White is nowhere near the finished article. Nowhere near the finished article.
I don't mind if we miss this one. I like him. Don't get me wrong, Johnny. I rate him as a really good player. I like his mentality more than I like his football skills.
His engine's unbelievable. He's got a fantastic engine, and that's what we really need in the middle of the park. But, I don't mind buying a player that needs to be refined and needs to be improved. It just seems like a lot of money for a player that's not 100% oven ready.
A part of me, Johnny, just thinks that this is sort of what Tottenham have done. And you know me, like I'll be balanced as much as I can with the Daniel Levy thing. I think this smells of Daniel Levy getting told, you can buy a player here that's probably worth 70 or 75 in a year or two's time. And by the way, City value him at about 80 because they're willing to do a trade for 50 or 60 and also give James McAtee in the other direction. But wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you can get him for 60. And Daniel Levy or whoever else is sitting there thinking it's a value trade. As people that trade the stock market, Johnny, there's a lot of people that buy stocks, not because they love the company, but because they think that they're underappreciated relative to market. And I think that might be part of the play here. And if so, that's not really what I want to be seeing Tottenham doing at this stage in our own cycle. And I don't get me wrong, like I say, I have to caveat this. I really do rate the player, but I just think there's an opportunity cost. And if this carries on, this delay, dithering and arguing and legal threats and all that bollocks, I just think that part of me thinks there's other opportunities out there. I don't mind it if it doesn't.
Harvey Elliott,
I'm just going to have a meltdown if it goes the other way, by the way.
Is Harvey Elliott that person? Talk about
Harvey Elliott, mate. Don't mind him.
Talk about another potential cop block along the way. There's quite a few of them today that would upset Spurs fans. Is the news coming out of Bayern Munich that Arsenal are in serious negotiations over a surprise transfer from Bayern Munich defensive midfielder João Paulinho. Now that's coming out of German Bild.
Yeah, we take Bild seriously. They know what they're talking about.
Correct. Yeah, I mean,
square the circle for me, mate.
how many more players can they have in the middle of the park there? I mean, there's strength in depth. And we could go down to 50 meters here with the amount of depth they've got in the middle of the park there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a serious statement if they go for João Paulinho.
I don't know how they're squeezing him in. He's a foreign player.
Are they getting rid of players? They don't need another player.
Yeah, they don't. Who?
They don't. But listen, we're talking about Bild. We're not talking about the Daily Mail or the Sun.
It's not a Team Talk link. It's
not a Team Talk link or Tottenham Football Insider.
I'll be more worried. I'll be more worried if it's Plettenberg. If he comes out and says something, then you have to, especially because it's Bayern, then you take it more seriously. Bild, obviously, Bild they're still a journal. They're still just a normal sort of newspaper, whereas Plettenberg is more dialed in specifically to Bayern. But it's not something that you don't take lightly. But I just think that they might be trying to cop block. They might be sitting there thinking, somebody else, one of our threats here, one of our sort of challenges for the
come in and pay over the odds, Sean. Make them think that they're buying.
I'm not familiar with the squad registrations of Arsenal. I haven't looked at them, but I'm just sort of thinking out loud. When you look at who are their homegrown players, right? Ben White is one. There's nobody else, I don't think. Lewis Skelly Potter, or what's his name? Lewis Skelly.
Yeah,
is 2. Saka's 3, and Nwaneri's 4. I'm not familiar with anybody else in their first 11. Their traditional first 11 that is, unless I'm forgetting someone, let me know in the chat, guys, by the way. And thank you for the choo-choo train that started, the super sticker train that started. Please jump on board, let us know where you want us to pick you up from. I can't think of too many more first 11 players or proper first team squad that are homegrown. And so on that basis, I don't really see how Paulinho can also be a part of that when they've already got Marino, they've already got Zubamendi, they've already got Norgard. And even Lewis can be in there as a DM as well at times. So I just don't. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't, but you know, as people have said in the chat there, and it's a very valid proposition that Bayern Munich are just, you know, basically fielding the.
Yeah, that's probably right, Ginola.
Only Fulton Horses, Tottenham. Thanks very much for the super chat coming from Enfield. I went to Enfield. I was at school at Enfield Grammar, so I'm sure you know it. It's not far from you. In the
Went to a grammar school, Johnny.
I went to a grammar school.
Did they not teach you how to pronounce weird names?
Yes, Eki TK. All day long. We didn't have Eki TKs in my day. Yes.
They come over here. They make me pronounce different names.
It was Bob Smith and Mr. Campbell. None of these foreign names. Right. Yes. Times have changed. Right.
Thank you very much, Only Fools and Tottenham. Love that, mate. Very cool of you.
Very much. Thank you very much. I've got so much. Should we go to Chelsea? Chelsea right now. Chelsea. There isn't a day where that goes past by nothing. Something's not happening with Chelsea. They're either buying or selling or interested in buying. So Morgan Rogers is of interest to Chelsea, and Nicholas Jackson is of interest to Aston Villa, who might be selling Ollie Watkins to a club that can't get any of the above mentioned Sesko, Vissa, Osimhen,
Love that joined up thinking there, Johnny. That's what we do here. Joined up thinking.
Right. So they're looking at doing some sort of swap deal plus cash for that. Premier League clubs are making initial approaches for Nicholas Jackson. AC Milan's move for the striker is definitely off because they can't afford him. That's according to Fabrizio Romano. Alternatively, there's also surprise talk of here's another one that Chelsea are looking at doing. Nicholas Jackson swapping with Alexandro Garnacho. Right, because what do Man United need? They need another striker, mind you. Apparently, it would help if they got one who actually can find the net. I'm not sure Nicholas Jackson is that person, but Chelsea remain interested in Garnacho. So again, another player they.
Before we break that one down, Johnny, I just got to ask you: do you not rate Nicholas Jackson at all?
No, I do. The problem is, it's a bit like Darwin Nunez. Right, I think you need a sports psychologist. Look, I will use Brian MBEUMO as an example. I used to watch Brian MBEUMO going back, 2 or 3 years ago now, and he kept getting himself into these positions and snatching at it. His final delivery wasn't any good. Now, if you have a hands-on coach like you have with Thomas Frank, who has honed him, and you know, when we spoke to our friend Gary yesterday, he gave us an insight into training about how under Ange, we had one way of finishing. He's worked on Brian MBEUMO's finishing over and over and over again. He's delivering to the box. He's crossing, picking his head up, looking out for various different options, understanding your partner. Where does your partner need to make the runs? And the art of finishing and being relaxed in the final third. And we see the end result. Could someone and a sports science psychologist not get into the minds of Nicholas Jackson and Darwin Nunez? Because what we keep seeing is them getting in the right position. They read the game fine. They read the position fine. They make the run.
That might be the problem with Darwin Nunez. It's not the problem with Nicholas Jackson. For me, Nicholas Jackson at Villarreal played on the counter. He played as a transition specialist, and his pace. When they would tuck in, they would tuck in a bank of 5 and a bank of 4, and he'd be the one up the top, or he'd be the right hand side, and then they would just let him loose, and he would just get down the other end and just bang. And by the way, I've got a monster story for you, Johnny, that you're going to wet yourself when you see this in a second, mate. But so I don't think Nicholas Jackson is a player that's just suited for a Chelsea dominant system. He is. It's unfortunate that a player, because I loved him at Villarreal when he first signed to Chelsea. Last summer, I was going on Never a Foul, and I went on Saeed TV And most of the guys on there hadn't heard of didn't know anything about Nicholas Jackson. And there was a Chelsea guy on saying, I don't know. And I was like, no, you've got a player there. You've got a real player. And then I was getting muddied from September until November because he didn't do anything and he was embarrassing, right? And I was like, maybe he's not the right player for Chelsea. And then he started to come good. But I just don't think he suits a system that does horseshoe football, looking for an entry against the low block. I think he suits a team like a Forest. He could be someone that would be fantastic. If I'm entirely honest, I think of him more as a winger than I do as a striker. If I'm Nottingham Forest and you're trying to replace Anthony Elanga, I actually think he would be a sensational replacement. The only problem is that Chelsea, on some delusion train, think that he's worth. Thinks that he's worth, sort of high digits, and he isn't. He's 40 million quid, 35 million quid. That's the sort of price point here. Yeah, but I think he would suit a team that plays on the transition, mate, massively.
You've also got Garnacho, who's being overpriced for his commitment as well. For Man United trying to get rid of him. So
that was the second part, right? You said that Chelsea are interested in Garnacho. Where the F would Garnacho fit in the Chelsea?
They're looking to listen. They are looking to offload. They are a Chelsea trading company. Forget them as a football club. Right now, it's like eBay, right?
Yeah.
Chelsea Bay. Right, we got 5 for sale. I bid you 5. I've got 3. Who bid me? I mean, that's basically what it's like. You're going to see Chelsea in and out of the club. And I've not even finished out. I mentioned Axel Diassi is another asset they're going to sell for 35 million. Chelsea have
whoever paid 35 million pound for Diassi is having a disaster class because he is absolutely pony squared. That guy is not a Premier League player.
No, it's not for that. But I do think Jackson, would suit Aston Villa in that pacey counter-attacking style that they have. They're great at the break, and I think he'd suit very well. But Chelsea have asked a second time now for a player that I particularly like, that caught my eye the tail end of last season, and that's Nico O'Reilly from Man City. Midfielder. I mean,
Nico O'Reilly. So he's going to be a monster. That name will reverberate around the Premier League echoes for a long time.
Player he is, but why would Man City even entertain and get rid of him? I can't quite.
That's what City do, mate. That's what City do. They're happy that they're not people that get attached to their assets or their opinions, mate. And I think it's a brilliant model because they fortunately for them, unfortunately for everybody else, they've created a draw where when they pick up the phone when someone comes alive, until this summer, by the way, when Liverpool and them went toe-to-toe for 5 minutes for Florian Wirtz, and then Man City soon realised where they sit in the brand draw, and Liverpool are head and shoulders above them. But generally speaking, when City want someone, they get them. And so they're happy to let these guys go, especially if they go with a sell-on fee.
Well, they're looking at also trying to get rid of. It was rumoured, or Oscar Bob, who I thought was looking fantastic until he got that bad injury, and the other one, what's his name? The Argentinian Esteviche. What's his name?
Stevio.
Yeah, Stevio. Yeah. Another really good player. I can't believe they're looking to get rid of all of these players. I really don't.
Well, Chelsea just mimicking the same model. They're happy to let people go out either out on loan to come back, or loan with or sell with a sell-on fee. And look, for what it's worth, just a quick one. I want to bring this story up to you, mate, because you're going to spend 5 minutes waxing lyrical about this. But before we do, I also just take one little sidetrack. Johnny, give me 2 seconds to work this through here, guys. Before we get to any of that, there's nearly 500 people here. Love to see it. Thank you so much for your attention. We're a small channel. We're on the march to 4K. Only been going a couple of months. Please do smash the like button, smash the subscribe. Notification bell buttons can be squeezed tightly, and also keep those comments flowing. If you're new here, let us know where you're from and who you support. And if you are on the audio sort of side of the contents thing, then links are in the description. Johnny, I just wanted to quickly pivot to one of our own, Josh Keeley, a goalkeeper that has today agreed a fee. Tottenham have agreed a fee with Luton Town. When I saw this, I was actually really devastated that he is one of the young players that we've already kind of let go. I didn't realise the terms or didn't realise the reason. It turned out we couldn't agree a contract with him. Right. He must have sat there and thought, there's 3 youngish goalkeepers in front of me in the queue here. I'm going to be spending my career doing what what Brandon Austin or Alfie Whiteman did. So I want to move on. Couldn't get a new contract. He's gone to Luton. I'm actually really sad because I actually think even though, you have to think about like with Jamie Donnelly, the question mark is, well, how he was so great at League One, but that's League One standard. But as a goalkeeper, I don't think you should judge the standard, because a great shot can come at any time from anywhere. Doesn't matter what standard you're playing. And if you can keep them out, then you're a good goalkeeper. And he did remarkably well he got them into the playoffs, right? So I think it's a big miss, but good luck to Josh Keeley. What's your thoughts, mate?
I'm a bit shocked. I think I was shocked when Kinski came in. I've been watching Luca Gunter and Josh Keeley for a while now, coming through the academy and stuff. And I've seen Josh Keeley a few times. I was at the playoff final against Charlton, where he actually, funny enough, he actually made a bit of a mistake, in my opinion, at the free kick. He didn't move his feet quick enough. But that said, here's a guy who scored a goal and an assist for Orient last season. And I thought he was superb. But I did say that the signing of Kinski would have definitely put Josh Keeley's nose out of joint, and understandably why. He's more or less the same age, and he's been brought in and he's been given minutes where he's done nothing to say that he doesn't have a bright future. The thing is, he didn't want the extension because he doesn't see. It was a kick in the teeth. Let's make no bones about it, right? I think we've
either got a buyback clause or a sell-on fee. I'm not sure.
I think we got a sell-on. I think we got a sell-on fee. I haven't had it confirmed yet. We got a buyback, but I don't think there's any doubt whatsoever that the club feel that he is not going to have a career in the Premier League. I think the feeling is he will have a Premier League goalkeeping career. And, I'm hoping Spurs have a buyback option. I'm surprised he went to Luton, if I'm brutally honest. I thought he'd go for a medium championship club, if I'm honest.
I think he could easily compete for a first-team spot there, mate.
Listen, the thing is, they obviously have made a decision, and Kinski's the one they're going to keep. He's not homegrown, so that would be another factor into the reason why. Had he signed a contract extension, they would have said, pardon? No, he's not. He doesn't count as homegrown.
He's been at Tottenham for 3 years, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, but he is not young enough. Not young enough.
He's only 21 now.
Yeah, he's not young enough. He's not. It doesn't count as homegrown. But what I'm surprised about is that, the fact that he's got 2 years left, they couldn't allow him to eke it down to 1 year. But I'm surprised because the fee coming out is 1 million. Is what I'm seeing, which is, ridiculously low. I mean,
if there's a 50% sell-on fee, then I'm okay with it. But it's definitely a kick in the teeth. But we were all surprised in January. We won't make this about Tottenham, especially when it's not Tottenham's first team. We'll sort of move on now. But I think we were all, Johnny, you and I were both really, we signed Kinski in January. Didn't really make a hell of a lot of sense, did it? I know we were hamstrung by some injuries at the time, but. I think that was another cock block. Isn't that a massive cock block?
Yeah, for him. But listen, look, it is what it is. You've got to move on. I am surprised that I've got a plane flying overhead. No doubt trying to get information off of our latest transfer news, Sean.
There's so much to go, mate. I just want to quickly talk about, because I did this video last night, mate, about you mentioned Garnacho a minute ago. I sort of done it when I said I had two things to bring to your attention before I get to this story here. One of them was about Keeley. The other one should have been beforehand. It was about Garnacho. I've run Garnacho through the Y Scout so many times.
Top draw, mate. Top draw.
I think he is a fantastic talent. Unfortunately, the Y Scout doesn't have the filter that removes dickheads. If Tottenham, just quickly on Tottenham and on Garnacho, because Garnacho, Chelsea's one team, Villa's another, and Chelsea are the third, right? I don't understand why Chelsea could possibly want another winger, especially if the reason he's unhappy there is because he wasn't getting enough game time. Why would you go to Chelsea where you're competing with too many? Villa maybe makes sense depending on their financial situation, but at Tottenham, I think it would have to, certain things would have to materialise, right? Richarlison would have to probably make room, or there would have to be. I think 3 players would have to leave to make sense for a Garnacho to come in, and even then, it's unclear whether he wants to work with a dickhead or whatever, or if he can fix the dickhead gene or whatever. But if Sonny was to be willing to leave after the Korean tour, if Garnacho was to come in, would you be okay with it, Johnny? Or, before I get your, is this someone that we need to avoid like a pothole?
You better watch out for the pothole, 'cause it's something to avoid. Don't ignore all his issues. Don't ignore all the noise.
He's a pothole we have to avoid. I really like him as a footballer, but he's just a petulant kid. Look, whether or not, a good slap round the head, or you can't do that these days, but a good like old-fashioned seeing to and like sort his life out. Where's his agent? Where's his agent having a word with him? Is his agent too scared to talk to him because he'll drop his agent because he had the audacity to tell him he needs to wise up and shape up, or he's going to, throw his career into the mud? You're at Manchester United, mate. You're at Man United, right? But this guy's a pothole, and we all know we have to avoid potholes, and he's definitely one to avoid.
All right, fair enough. By the way, guys, in about 10, 15 minutes' time, we are going to be doing the draw for Johnny's official Serie A team of the season.
My Italy team, my Italy shirt on today.
Yeah, I don't like this. You're making these you're pushing the karma in your direction, and when it goes in your direction, it comes away from me. And don't get on Johnny's side here, boys, because boys and girls in the chat, because you've got a team coming your way as well. For what it's worth, we have to pick 3. As it stands, Johnny is supporting Bilbao this season. I'm supporting Elche. And you guys in the chat are supporting Valencia vicariously through our channel. So make sure you stick around for that. But, Johnny, I wanted to quickly just pivot to this, mate. This might be a story that, we might wet ourselves here. TBR Football understands that a number of Premier League clubs are making inquiries and keeping close tabs on AC Milan's bid for Swiss starlet Ardon Jashari. Sources, Tottenham and Forest are tracking Ardon Jashari, my man.
Mate,
imagine if we got the boy. Imagine if we got him. What's your thoughts?
Let me tell you something. Who was it that bought you Ardon Jashari first, mate? Honestly, I have had the hots for this kid. If you don't know him, he's a Swiss international playing for Club Bruges, mate. Honestly, his ball carrying is ridiculous. His passing is ridiculous. I would say his tackling is not brilliant, but that's not what he's about. Sky's the limits for this guy. Now, it was said that the deal to AC Milan was all but done, but he wasn't paying the money. If you haven't seen Osimhen Turkey, honestly, if you haven't seen him, look, show him the numbers, Sean. Show them the numbers.
Madness, right? It's a madness set of stats.
Oh, boy.
I only got told about this fella by someone in the know, about who knows a thing or two that you might know. Johnny let me know. And he goes, run the stats on this guy. I'd never heard of him, to be honest. I'd never heard of him at Bruges. And then I looked into him, and then Johnny and I went and did the Y Scout on him. And he's absolutely insane. I just want to show you some of these stats here, right? Get down to the
Ardon Jashari. That's the one. That's the one, Maisie's Adventures.
It's absolutely mental. This guy is a absolute top drawer in the passing stat. His carrying stat. Where's the carrying stats? We're doing it. Here we go. Right, look at this. Carries, right? He gets the ball. He touches the ball 73 times per game, right? Which is about standard for a midfielder. He turns and carries with it 55. So 62 in every 3 times he gets the ball, he turns and runs. 99th percentile in the game. Total carrying distance.
That's
352 yards per game, 99th percentile. There's only one person that I found that's higher than him, and it was what's the guy's name? He ended up going to St. Gauloise, Union St. Gauloise, He was at Charleroi before. Another player that I really like. I'll bring his name up in a second. So I've got a brain fart going on. Progressive carrying distance, 150 yards for a midfielder, 99th percentile. This guy is someone who is amazing with the ball, amazing without the ball. His positional sense, his passing sense for a midfielder, the things that he does in terms of attracting that kind of opportunity, either 1 or 2 steps away from the actual end product.
Martin, he's not
really interesting. Sorry, mate.
Martin, he's not a defensive midfielder, mate. Just for your information, he's a progressive forward attacking midfielder, 8, maybe even a 10. The only thing I would say, maybe
he's an 8. Yeah. I would say he's 10.
Well, some of his passing is that of a 10, but you'd be happy to have him. Let's put it like that. I mean, you see that I'm saying? Now, if you looked at a player like that and we turned around and said to Nottingham Forest, you know what? Don't worry about it. You take him for your 60 million. We'll buy Ardon Jashari for 35, 40 million euros. And we'll use some of that money to go and buy other players, right?
The difference is, though, even though Jashari's 22, the thing you have to, the part of the value proposition of someone like a Gibbs White and a Harvey Elliott is that we know that they can handle the Premier League. We don't know what we don't know, with regards to players.
I understand that, but Club Brugge, do consistently produce players that have managed to make it in the Premier League, in the Belgium League. It's not like, it's not so bad as, like, say, for example, the Dutch League. Look, here's a player that I was alerted to by someone in Switzerland a few weeks back, a good few weeks back, actually, before the window even started. And it looked like it was done and dusted, as I said, to AC Milan. AC Milan would have done their scouting, but I was really shocked that no one in the Premier League had jumped on board until I just saw that news about him now. I'd love to see him in the Premier League, and I'd love to see him at Spurs.
Mate, part of me thinks, though, that TBR is like there's a mutual respect, because I always wax lyrical about TBR on the First Talk Show, and I always feel like sometimes I wouldn't be surprised if Ezequiel Palacios was the name out of the bag from TBR tomorrow or something, because I spoke about him the other day. I feel like there's I hope that there's absolute substance to it, mate, because he would be someone that I'd be interested in seeing. But there are unknown unknowns, or known unknowns rather.
No. Listen, I see the comments that even Oliver Skipp and Harry Winks could get great stats in the Belgium League, but we saw the percentile there, guys. Right, that ain't fake, right? That's fact. And if you go and watch a video of him, you see him in motion, you'll understand why. Just looking at stats, you need the stats and the eye. So when you leave here later on, go and look at Osimhen Jashari and see. Sounds like an Indian dish, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like an Osimhen Jashari
naan.
Jashari naan.
Smash the nani out of the like button, guys, if you like Jashari. Really appreciate the support on the channel. There's 520 people here. Johnny, we'll do the Juve. Or sorry, I'm sort of predicting you're going to get Juve. I don't know whether
Juve, and you predict you haven't. He just slipped it out there, guys. Right? He's already. No, I haven't. I haven't. He's got the spinning wheel to stop on Juventus already. I couldn't get hold of him for about an hour today. Now I know what he's up to.
Mate, if I was picking anybody, it wouldn't be Juve, to be entirely honest.
While we're in Italy, let's go to Inter Milan. Inter Milan are very keen on joining up with Ademola Lookman. They were quite a way apart from sealing the deal from Atalanta. They wanted around about 45 million, 50 million. It looks like the 40 million euro bid offer that they wanted to get from Inter Milan. I think they're going to stretch it out and maybe do around about 30, 35 million plus some add-ons. And there's a player that didn't quite do it. I always like the look of him at was it Everton and Fulham, wasn't it? But he's definitely been doing it.
Adam played for Leicester as well.
Yeah, I mean, who can forget that final for Atalanta where he scored the hat-trick in the final?
Oh, mate, he's a cracking player. In fact, to be honest, when I was doing the Y Scout thing, I did it on the video last night, and I was showing you dial these things up, and you end up always seeing Garnacho as a left winger that does everything you want. The other two players that were constantly there, no matter what I did to filter, one was Ademola Lookman, and the other one was Anthony Gordon. And we know how good Anthony Gordon is. Everybody, when Tottenham were linked with Anthony Gordon in the summer, we ended up signing Richarlison. I was like, give me Anthony Gordon all day. And everybody in a certain WhatsApp group that I was in was like, no, he's rubbish, don't want him. And then when we signed Richarlison, they were all like, yeah, he's the guy. I was like, I know he's your boy, mate, but I was like, don't want Richarlison, should have got Anthony Gordon. And then a year later, the same people that were telling me then that Anthony Gordon was rubbish were saying, well, why did we let him go to Newcastle? The internet has it's like an elephant memory, never forgets, right? But for me, Anthony Gordon is a class player, but Ademola Lookman has all of the same credentials, all of the same output, and less of that sort of donut gene that maybe Garnacho has. So for me, if Tottenham were to start looking at Lookman, and Lookman apparently is on the radar of like teams like Fulham, teams like West Ham, teams like Brighton and stuff. So you're sort of thinking about what's the caliber of team and where do you sit in the stack rank. I think if Tottenham were to look for a player that was to come in on the left hand side in a world where Sonny was to leave the club and there was space for one more, Lookman for me would be, and he's also incredibly versatile. He can play anywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
right, left, centre, night, whatever you want.
And listen, he's sometimes you think outside the box. Into Milan, I think I've got a good deal there for a reasonably good price. Manchester City, it's been reported that Ederson could be looking to leave Manchester City. We'll come back to that in a minute because it's the other section. But Manchester City look like they've secured going to complete the signing now in the next 48 hours of Spurs Academy star Dexter Oliver, the under-18 midfielder. Manchester City now, it's interesting because they're selling a lot of their players, but they're also out now raiding all the top academies now, trying to buy up the players. Whereas Manchester United, interestingly, are at the moment contacting agencies without speaking to the parents, trying to make some of their academy stars for sale to free up space. Maybe he's looking to cut back the academy bill. I don't know, but some of the parents of these kids aren't very happy. I'm sure that won't work in a long-term plan. Now, the one that we really need to talk about here, they're all mixed in here. I think if I go to the story here of Victor Osimhen, should we go to Turkey?
Yeah, let's just go to Turkey, shall we? Let's get us some souvlaki.
This is the Turkey segment. The Turkey segment of the show.
This was a cross between a cock block and a Turkey section, so forgive us. It fits all of them. The Victor Osimhen, Galatasaray, Napoli saga has been dragging on so long. There's been reports, but frankly, it's time to put things in black and white, right? So the latest update is that Galatasaray had another direct contact with Napoli late yesterday morning, where they indicated that they're preparing to present a letter of credit, Sean, rather than a standard bank guarantee. There we go. There you go. Don't worry about the bank. Here's a letter.
Photoshopped Turkey style.
Turkey letter of credit. That should do it.
Yeah, you wonder why those Bank of Turkey on the interest rates give you like 11%. What's going on? Hey, it's a real. Oh, I was that to Italian accent. I need to figure out the Turkish accent for the show, Johnny. Got to do the Turkish accent.
Yeah, but I mean, they just want a standard bank guarantee in the coming hours, possibly even today. They said they need it, right? It's clear that this isn't a simple task. It's a complex operation that takes time. But Galatasaray have reiterated that they're in direct contact with the banks trying to reach an agreement. But in the meantime, we're quite willing to give you this piece of paper. Look, Napoli want a figure as close as possible to the 50 million euros plus an additional 25 million add-ons to be paid no later than 2026. The club might settle for a lower fixed fee, but only if the deal is wrapped up within the year. They remain firm on this point. The small instalments and the guaranteed payments, Galatasaray still said they're working on it. The problem
I don't understand. Like, they've triggered the release. Obviously, the release clause has been paid, right? It's just not like the
they haven't. They haven't. They haven't. They said they want to pay it, right? They said that they're going to do the deal. Then they started messing around with, how they were going to pay the money. Then they said, see the colour of your money. And then they said, well, we haven't got any bank guarantees, but we have got a piece of paper which says I owe you £72 million. Napoli's dream, right, was to sign Darwin Nunez, right? Who can help the club take the next step. The player was entirely on board. He's actually waited 70 days for Napoli, having placed them at the top of his list. Napoli have had long considered him the first choice, and there would be no issue covering his salary exceeding £5 million from Liverpool. And negotiations were carrying on until a couple of days ago. But now, cockblock. As early as last weekend, Napoli, who had always considered Lorenzo Licca as their plan B, began serious evaluation at Udinese. And it's no coincidence that contact with Torino for Vanja Milenkovic-Savic resumed unexpectedly, while the Dan Noyd option remains on the table. A direct sign that Napoli are ready to redistribute the money originally allocated for Darwin Nunez elsewhere, which now brings them to the point that they look close to reaching an agreement for Luca. The striker is ready to join Napoli, and medical tests are scheduled for tomorrow. Napoli will pay around 35 million for the transfer package. It's an initial loan deal with an obligation to buy. Now, here's another example, Sean, of Turkey doing the talk. They want to buy the player. It's dragged on. Darwin Nunez 70 days. It's also blocked up Liverpool, because with that Darwin Nunez money, which is around about 50 million euros, they could then put that to Ekitike or any of the other signings. So we got various blockages going on now that once the money releases a domino effect to release other players. Yeah. And I wonder, I can see this one falling flat on its face.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that I'm still a little bit confused by what it is that's missing in the deal with Osimhen. Is it just? Are you saying it's just terms essentially?
Well, they can't look. It's all very well saying, we want to pay it. We want the 70. We're going to pay the 75 million euros, but you can't show how you're going to pay it, right? They said, look, it's 50 million, right, euros. And then the 25 million over with add-ons, right? So what they said was, we'll take less if you can guarantee that the 25 million and add-ons is less, but is paid within the year, because they need the money to buy their other players to do their signings. Because they looked at Garnacho.
Napoli have already just signed Noah Lang, right? Who's essentially, he's a slightly different player to Osimhen. He plays more in a 10, but they've just agreed that 25 million euro deal from Eindhoven. So that's done. So I think that Galatasaray just trying to take advantage of, the situation.
But Sean, you just, if you do a deal, you've got to show a letter of credit, mate, from the bank. You can't just... Yeah. Sean, if this was a week, fine. This has been going on for 70 days. 70 days, right? It's not a week. It's not 2 weeks. Bearing in mind that he's been on loan for them the whole of the season, right? And they intimated that they want to make the deal permanently. And Victor Osimhen also turned down the deal to Saudi. So here's another one. The Darwin Nunez now option is Saudi Arabia. So does he go there? Or does he feel...
He doesn't want to go there, does he? He doesn't want to go to Saudi Arabia, right? Doesn't want to go. So there's nobody else who's going to pay 75 million euros for him. What's 75 million? 65 million quid? There's no... United aren't going to do it. Like, United are like going beyond their own financial means right now to be able to get MBEUMO done. Right, they're actually giving what Brentford asked. It looks like they're trying to rush the deal. Would Newcastle United come and get an Osimhen? Would Osimhen go to Newcastle to play in interchange with? I don't think so, right? With Isak, because Isak's going to start in the Premier League big games. Osimhen's going to be someone who comes in. They play exactly the same position. Neither of them have really got that kind of utility. So to me, I'm just sitting there thinking, like, if it's not Galatasaray, at the moment, the only other option, the only other team that's really showing an interest in Osimhen at that price point is Saudi. He doesn't want to go to Saudi. So on that basis, unless Napoli can figure out the money and impress Napoli with their bank credit, I don't know where else he goes. He's not going to go to Bayern Munich. Barcelona haven't got any money. Real Madrid don't need him. Paris don't need him.
For another loan? Are they engineering Galatasaray? You know, they can't come up with the actual money. They need to get rid of him. Are they going to just go for a loan? There's one other player who's stuck in Italy right now, who really doesn't know what's going on or what's going to happen with his career, is Dusan Vlahovic, right? You know, are they going to cancel his contract? Is someone going to come in and want to take him on board? He, I don't think, really needs to go to. He's definitely not.
You may have already signed the geezer from Lille, right? Jonathan David.
Yeah. So, but they need to get rid of. They need to get rid of. Look, they can't afford.
So there's no point. So Juve are not going to keep him because if they want to have Jonathan David and Kolo Muani, then they absolutely need to get rid of Dusan. Dusan's not going to go to Turkey. Maybe Dusan goes to Al Hilal. I'd have a bet that Dusan Vlahovic ends up in Turkey and goes to Al Hilal because he's a big name, but he hasn't really done it. And I think most people in the Premier League are looking at him thinking, not sure he's got the.
Can't afford. Listen, Vlahovic can't afford to sit on the sidelines for another 10 months. Juventus can't afford to be sat there paying a huge wage for a player that's not going to get any motion, get any game time. So all in all, but you know, is someone going to come in and maybe take a gamble on him, Sean? I mean, you know,
on Dusan Vlahovic.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but look, I don't think Vlahovic is nowhere near worth his wage. Not a chance.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is on a free. If Juventus cancelled his contract and paid him up, right? Could he then negotiate a deal to rekindle his career in the Premier League with someone like Aston Villa, for example? Potentially.
Yeah, Aston Villa might be a good shout. Yeah, Aston Villa might be a good shout if Ollie Watkins leaves. Oh, mate, it's so fascinating, mate. Every day it's fascinating right now. Where's Ollie Watkins going to? What colour shirt is he going to be wearing next year? Where's Vlahovic going to be? Osimhen, I don't see him coming to Liverpool. They've got Ekitike. Are they going to? Is Ekitike the replacement for Luis Diaz? If so, and then Darwin Nunez goes with Jota obviously passing.
Diaz to Real Madrid to Bayern Munich,
right? So if Diaz does go. And they bring in Ekitike, and then Liverpool were just saying, no, not interested in selling Diaz until we get Ekitike done. Now we're going to get Ekitike. Diaz can go to Bayern. That moves things along in those clubs. If Darwin Nunez does end up going somewhere, then maybe you could see Osimhen at Liverpool. But I don't think you're going to see Dusan Vlahovic at Liverpool. On that basis, does Ollie Watkins go to Newcastle? But does Ollie Watkins want to go and play second fiddle to Isak either? I think Newcastle are currently suffering the same problem as what Tottenham had to suffer under Harry Kane. Is that when you have a guy that's that good and you want someone to come in that's good enough behind him, no one that's good enough wants to play second fiddle. It's a really, really hard circle to square.
Guys, if you're in the chat and you haven't hit the like button yet, please hit it. And if you're here for the first time, guys, please hit the subscribe button. We're on our way to 4,000. That's our next target. And without you, we couldn't do it. And it's been a really quick journey to get this.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
Quickly in just over 2 months now. There is another story here about an ex-Spurs player, a particular favourite of mine that I used to watch at the academy, and that's Romain Mundle, who decided before we up the wage structure for our academy kids, he left, went off to Belgium, came back, signed for Sunderland on short-term contract. Now, Sunderland are worried they're going to lose him. They're preparing a contract for him, but apparently now numerous Premier League clubs are interested and numerous clubs also in Europe. That's according to Fabrizio Romano. I wonder, would Spurs go and offer him? Make him a homegrown? Bring him back into the fold?
Mundell?
Yeah,
No.
I'm just... No?
He's going to sign a new contract at Sunderland. He's going to stay there and do a good job. And I'm happy for him. I'd like to see him do it in the Premier League. I think it's a perfect place. I think Sunderland are...
They're on the way up, mate. They're on the way up.
Yeah, I'm really, really impressed with their ambition. Really impressed. That Diarra guy, by the way, I think is going to be a monster. I think he'll be worth like 12 extra points just in himself for Sunderland, which is vital for what they're trying to achieve this year. I don't know who their owner is. Johnny. Do you know who the owner of Sunderland is off the top of your head?
No. Because it changed recently. I'll have to try and remember.
I'll take a look in a second. But just
Super sticker train,
Sorry?
The super sticker train went again.
Oh, the super sticker train's gone. Sorry, guys. We sort of neglected it. Give me 1 second. We got one from Daniel Field. Thank you, Daniel. We're stopping in Clapham Junction as always.
He says he needs to change from Clapham Junction and he'd rather be Paddington.
All right. No, he didn't say that. He said that just before the show started, he saw an ad for Paddington.
Oh, right.
We've been talking about stations so much that people that watch this show get served advertising from stations, apparently.
I mean, there are people. There are people. There's another one here from what's that? Skip and Coy.
Yeah, Slip End Coy. Thank you very much, mate. Seems like you're a fisherman, maybe. Thank you very much, mate. Let us know where you're from. We'll pick you up. The choo-choo train has started, as has Fletchy boy. Thank you very much, Fletch. Appreciate you, mate. Choo-choo. And also, you came in with a super chat saying, trust Frank to sort everything.
I agree.
Yeah, look, lots going on, mate. Lots going on. That's why if Tottenham end up with someone like a Garnacho, that has to be on the basis that Thomas Frank knows that this guy could be trouble and thinks that he can figure it out, right?
I was going to say, for the people who are dropping in for the first time, I've seen some comments in there. When we play our little jingles for the section. They're trying to press forward wind to avoid the advert.
Yeah, skip the ad. Yeah.
I
think someone said, no. I can't handle these videos. It's embarrassing. I'm unsubscribing. Okay, ta-ra. Thanks for your time. But this is what we have fun on this channel. We spend a little bit of time trying to create some sort of fun moments. And we like it. You don't have to, but it's all good. Thank you very much, guys. Smash the like. El Dante's in with a super sticker as well. We appreciate you, El Dante. Great modding, by the way, bud. Great modding. You're a mod in chief. Johnny, look, we still have a little bit of transfer news to go, but I think it's about time, considering someone didn't like our little video segment. It's time for the Juventus draw, because we need to know exactly who it is. I'll say it again. Listen, if you pops up, I swear, as Bugsy is my witness on Bugsy's life, I swear there's no. I just said Juve rather than Syria. I don't know what's on my mind. But there's nothing going on here. Anyway, guys, it's time to find out who it is that Johnny and myself and you guys are supporting on this channel through Serie A this season.
Step right up and take your shot. What's behind that mystery spot? Will it be gold or a tiny teapot? Feel the buzz, the room's alive. With a spin and you'll thrive. Spin that wheel, spin it fast. Big drinks turn while the moments last. Spin that wheel, spin it true. Fortune's calling, it's up to you.
If that in my sleep, Sean.
Mate, you know what, dude? It's such a catchy jingle. I'm thinking about turning it into a summer blockbuster. I can imagine everyone at an Ibiza pool party hearing that and going, "That's a banger!"
Right, bring on the wheel. Bring on the wheel.
Spin the wheel. It's time to spin the wheel. Listen, if Juve comes up, I swear to God, I've not done anything. It's just a slip of the tongue. Swear to God, there's no bentness here. I don't even think that you can put the weightings on the spin the wheel. It is what it is. Johnny, do you want to go first or second? I'll let you pick.
I'll go first. Come on.
All right.
Here we go.
So now you know that he had the choice of going first or second. Ready? First, John. This is Johnny's team. Be someone shit. Be Cagliari. It's not Cagliari. No way. Yeah.
Cremonese. I've had a Cremonese all over my jeans. I can't believe that's who I've got. Cremonese. I'm going to spend the season at the bottom of the league. Can't believe
now you know how I feel, bro. Now you know how I feel.
Cremonese. At least Elche will win a game. Cremonese.
Now we got Johnny. I'll give you the sort of the biased pick. Should I go next or should the audience go next?
All right, go on. You go next, and then we'll leave. I cannot believe I got Cremonese.
Come on.
You even
Let's
get
go Napoli. Give me the Napoli, boys.
It's Juventus. We're redrawing.
Come on, Napoli. Did I get?
Roma.
Come on. Woo! I'll take that. All right, lads and ladies and gentlemen, you ready for your team? This is your team, guys, in the chat. You've already got Valencia. Who are you getting now? No way!
We got Juventus.
It's a fix. It's a fix. I tell you.
It's a fix. I mean, they're going to smash us this season. They got Juventus and Valencia. We got Cremonese and Elche between. Oh, dear.
It's rigged, I tell you. No chance. So, wait, fucking hell, Valencia and Juve. And I've got Elche and Roma, and you've got who? Cremonese and Bilbao.
Who can I ring up and ask for a Cremonese shirt?
DH Gate. Back on the DH Gate as soon as this show finishes. Guys, if you are members of the show, by the way, members of the show throughout the season and probably in not too distant future, before the season starts, we'll be doing some draws. We're going to get a few. They're going to be DH Gate levels because we're not wealthy here. We're not loaded yet. But if you are a member of the channel, then you will get a chance to win a Valencia shirt or two, or a Juventus shirt or two, because that's what you've got to work with. We're going to be bringing in so many different little games and things. It's going to be fantastic. So if you want to be a part of the channel, then do smash the like button and smash the subscribe. There you go, Johnny. How do you feel about Cremonese?
I can't believe it. I was thinking, look, I don't mind a small club, but I was looking for a bit of enjoyment. I mean, imagine I'm going to go into a sports division or one of them down there. Excuse me, madam, I've come for a Cremonese shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to become as familiar with Cremonese as I have become with Elche over the last couple of days.
I mean, at least Elche are playing Millwall and, they're getting involved. I mean, what is the Cremonese derby?
I don't know. That's your job to figure it out, mate. It's your job to figure it out. You have to do a little review. I'm going to have to do my research and find out who Elche's derbies are. I think someone told me yesterday. I've already forgotten. But congratulations, mate. Now we're both in the relegation battle, and we both got European chances and
Millwall,
also relegation threats.
Millwall versus Elche tomorrow. We expect above that. Sean and I will be at the Reading game on Saturday, watching Spurs v Reading. But maybe we should look into. I need to look out, see how much it is to fly out to Cremonese. For a game. Could someone tell me, please?
It's like Fluminese crazy, Cremonese. It's Flumin crazy.
Could someone tell me, please, what colours Cremonese play in? Hopefully, it's not red and white. And creme de la creme.
Roma playing in magenta. I'm not calling them red. We don't. Because I can. If I go and buy the Roma shirt, it's not quite red, so it's fine.
Really red. It's like a burgundy red, isn't it? It's
exactly.
Cremonese
play in red and grey. It looks like red and grey stripes, a bit like Crystal Palace.
Nathan with a suggestion: if your team gets relegated, you have to do an episode of the podcast with your pants down.
There you go. You want to see your team? There's your team, mate. There's your team. Someone's celebrating the goal.
They're playing red. What the?
Red and grey stripes, and look at the stadium in the background, mate. There's a massive audience there. You are their first official.
I obviously. Why can we not have a club without? What about Elche away kit? I mean, it's going to be hard enough to get the Elche home kit.
Yeah. It's cost me a fortune from DHgate to get it signed over. Guys, one more story for you, Johnny, before we run. I've got to jump. I've got another stream to go to, but I'm going to do one more story for you, mate. Marc-Andre ter Stegen, the goalkeeper at Barca, is not expected to join Barcelona's Asian tour. You've spoken a lot about Chelsea's pursuit of a new goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And we talked about, obviously, about Donnarumma. It's never going to happen. Obviously, Emi Martinez is one option, but obviously Man United also need a goalkeeper. I personally see
they owe a lot of money. They owe us a lot of money. They owe Stegen a lot of money. Yeah. And he said, "Okay, you want me to go? I'll go, but pay me up my I think it's 10 million euros."
Yeah,
like that. And they're saying no. They've offered him, what was it, 2 million euros or something out of the 10. You know, where is the shit?
This isn't their first rodeo at Barcelona doing that, well, is it? I can imagine ter Stegen going to the Premier League, and I can actually imagine him going into Manchester United, if I'm entirely honest.
No, I just, honestly, we got Mike Maignan, you've got Stegen, and you've got Emi Martinez, you know, there, and James Trafford. There's probably the 4 goalkeepers really that could get a move soon. Onana's injured, so that move to Monaco looks like it's off. The Monaco rehabilitation.
Maybe Monaco will take ter Stegen. Actually, that makes a lot of sense.
Maybe they will. Maybe they will. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Really enjoyed that until the end, didn't you, Johnny? You thought you were getting AC Milan, didn't you? Didn't you?
No, I didn't. Listen.
You put on the hat. You're colour coordinated. You're trying to tweak Lady Luck in your favour. And you know what? I rigged the draw thinking that you were going to make me pick last, and the Juve came up. So
yeah, right.
I didn't really at all. I'm Roma till I die, baby. Roma and Elche and Tottenham. They're my 3 teams. And you've got Cremonese. We'll see you guys tomorrow for another 24-hour update of whatever's going on.
Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you know when we could be on, because we could be on any time between 9:30 in the morning and 9:30 at night. We got a special guest coming for you soon. It's going to be very, very interesting. We'll tell you more about it soon. And we'll also be doing a Football Inc. fantasy football group for you guys to come and join. But right now, that's it. So it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from this guy. Audio links in the description below, guys. See you tomorrow. Take care. Thanks, everyone. Bye.